Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. So this video is not very camera specific, although I do have a couple recent purchases I can just let you know about and some thoughts on the Sony A7C II, but wanted to address where I've been a little bit because I've gotten some of you reach out to me on Instagram or whatever, now text message, say, hey, what happened? Where have you been? You haven't made any videos in a long time. And because, you know, the reality is photography is a hobby, and when life really ramps up to a high degree, you know, photography gets put to the side. I think it's the case for a lot of people that go and buy dedicated cameras. It's why the cell phone is such a you know, revolutionary part to the photography world, because people don't have time necessarily for dedicated photography all the time. And in my case, that's certainly true. So, you know, I got kids up back to school. My little 5-year-old, he just started his first week of kindergarten a couple days ago. My high schooler is, you know, in full swing for cheerleading and football, and she starts her sophomore year next week. And then my little girl is in her first year of preschool. So all that's going on. There are 3 separate schools, 3 separate start times, 3 separate pickup times, all that's going on. On top of that, I'm trying to obviously maintain my day job. And then just recently, my son, who's in a travel hockey program, it's really like an entry-level travel hockey program. There was a lot of turmoil with the head coach, and through a lot of stuff, I ended up being the head coach now, which is glad to do it. A little bit of imposter syndrome, because you got to figure out what's going on. I played hockey growing up. I still play hockey twice a week. That's another thing. My hockey leagues are starting up as well. So glad to teach these little kids how to play hockey to the best that I can, and just wish it was under different circumstances. But so yeah, I've been really busy doing that, and tonight we have practice. So if it's not running kids around, being at work, being present there, it's hockey or some family event afterwards. And so the opportunities to just go photograph have been very, very limited. But yeah, I haven't given up. I'm recording this in my EM1 Mark III. Look at that autofocus. Huh. My EM1 Mark III, using the 9mm 1.7 Lumix Leica lens. Still have all that. I have the 45 1.8, and I have the 300 f4 still. That's kind of what my Olympus kit is for now. But I've made some investments on the Sony side of things, and this is going to kind of tie into the A7C II. So this is the A7 III, right? Definitely not new by any means. And when I got the camera, it comes with the 28-70 kit lens. A lot of people dog that lens. Not as bad as people think. Obviously not a bokeh machine, but I think you can make it serviceable for a lot of photography. At least my copy is not too bad. Maybe there's copy variation. And I have the 51.8, the cheap one, which I showed in a couple videos ago, where you can kind of I used it for portraits, and I think it turned out just fine. Now, would the G Master be better? Of course, and maybe I'll get that one day. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to add a couple zooms. So I have 28-70 covered. So I went and got the Tamron 17-28, if you guys can see this, f2.8. Now, the reason I went with Tamron is because their recent glass, just like Viltrox for Fuji, is fine. It's great. It's really sharp. It's contrasty. Has good colors, and it's just a great value. You know, for someone like me, and for most of you guys, even professionals, there's no reason for you not to go with the Tamron or a Sigma and save yourself some money. Especially on Sony bodies, the Tamrons seem to work well. I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard that Tamron and Sony have some kind of vested interest together. You guys can let me know in the comment section below. So I got the 17-28, so it gives me 17-28 and then 28-70 on the kit lens, and then I went 70-180 on this guy. Again, same thing, you know, probably more 40 or 30% of the price of the G Master version of a 70-200. Now, like, I'm not saying it's exactly the same quality, but this is a very sharp lens. It autofocuses great. I've really not been disappointed at all whatsoever with this lens so far. And when it comes to my recent photography stuff, I've been shooting the Sony mostly because I've been shooting some kids' sports, or my daughter was doing some cheerleading, just playing around. And so I've been using this lens most of the time, and it just gives me the look and the autofocus performance and stuff that I want. So the Olympus has been sitting back a little bit more, and it's been mostly Sony. So that brings me to the A7C II. You know, I told you guys I wasn't going to buy any more camera bodies for the rest of the year or do system swaps. I could sell, but I wasn't going to buy, and I'm sticking to that. But I was very, very curious on the Sony A7 II, because if you start kind of blending together the smaller primes that they have, and then obviously I got Sony right here, that would be an interesting purchase, potentially down the road. I watched a quick review on it. It's a really good camera, value for the money. They took the EVF, which was one of my main complaints, and went to a 0.7 magnification, but they left it at 2.36 million dots. This is a 2.36 million dot camera. This is an older camera. I don't know why they would do that. So that was a little concerning. The screen's still not great. It's a single card slot, which I think we all expected. But all that isn't what turns me off. It's the fact that they're asking $2,200 for it. And when you stop and pause for a second and you think about, well, the A7 IV, which really isn't that much bigger, is only a couple $100 more. And that's got 2 card slots and a better EVF and yada, yada, yada. Does that make sense? You know, and people are talking about the A7 II having the autofocus algorithms out of the A7 R5. Well, the A7 IV autofocus algorithms were great too, so it's not like you're missing a ton there. You know, so there's that. And I think if you're going to shoot, you know, a Sony or a full frame camera for its compactness, lenses like these don't really work, right? You got to go for the smaller primes, or you got to adapt some manual focus glass. You'll get some of those 2.4, 2.5 aperture G lenses that they have. So I think I'm going to be sticking with this for a bit, like I promised. No changes there. And you know, we'll see what next year looks like, and what I want to do, and what my investments are going to be, and what things I'm going to minimize as I continue to go forward with it. Of course, the one camera I'm not talking about here is the Leica, which I haven't shot in a little bit, but that's the camera that I like to shoot the most, honestly. And that's the one that, if I'm just having fun with my family, I can actually get a chance to relax. That's the one I like to shoot with probably the most. So yeah, that's where I've been, man. I've been busy, and I know this is just a talking video. It's a lot of rambling, but I wanted to let you guys know I have not purchased new cameras. I have sold or returned a couple Micro Four Thirds lenses, and I have picked up some of these. The big question for me on the Olympus is that, do I keep this as just the vlog plus wildlife setup? Because the 300f4 is unmatched in terms of its size and capability and what it's able to do. And this little setup here at the 9mm in the autofocus that it has and the stability, it's really good. It beats the Sony for sure. And then if you try to get into the long focal lengths in full frame, you know, you start getting a lens that's like this big, and it makes it a lot more difficult. So I think I'm going to run dual systems for a bit, and just use them where I see fit. That's what we're going to do. Anyways, I want to give you guys an update. Appreciate it. Just want to let you guys I haven't abandoned you. And if you ever want the best recipe for reverse gas or for anti-gas, just get busy doing something else. Because I have not thought about photography or camera reviews or lenses or any of that stuff, because reality check, when real life kicks in, that stuff gets put to the outside, and you got to step up, you got to man up, if you will, and take care of business at work, home, your kids' sports, your own personal stuff, whatever. So this is a pastime. This is for you to see the world in a different way, to relax and enjoy it. And if you're sitting at home watching camera reviews all the time, like I enjoy doing, you're probably not understanding the benefit of photography as much. Although, I do love gear. As we know, I do love gear. Okay, one take wonder. That's it. I'll see you guys. I'm going to sip on this coffee, get my workday started, and I'll see you guys on the next video. See ya.